This episode includes themes of violence and racial microaggression. Listener discretion is advised. Hello.
Hello, Jenny.
And welcome to Once More, a podcast where two best pals rewatch, re-examine, and review our favorite movies, shows, and series. I'm Jen Katz.
I'm Ryan Something.
How are you today, Ryan Something?
I'm well, Jenny. How are you?
I'm great. We're getting lots of rain, which is unprecedented for summer in Texas.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I had about 2 inches in my rain gauge last night.
Nice.
And hopefully 2 or 3 more today. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. If things get a little exciting.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Well, question.
Okay.
Have you ever had a class assignment that turned out to be a mind control egg thing?
No.
Weird. I thought that happened to everyone.
No, it didn't. Of course, I didn't grow up on a hellmouth.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That checks. Did you have to take care of an egg in your health class?
I never had to do that. No. I always wanted to because this was such a
Y'all
trope.
were busy with other barnyard animals, right?
And real babies.
Oh, God.
Lots of teen parents.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Yeah. You know, we were too busy branding cattle, delivering baby horses. It was, in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet old Norman Pfister would have been good at that.
It's been fun. I'm going to go walk out to sea now.
Okay. Great. This is my show now. And for my first guest, welcome back, Jenny.
Starting off with a bang.
Mm.
All right, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Should we just go ahead and get into it?
Please. Today we'll be discussing the 12th episode of season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Bad Eggs.
Yeah, we are.
This episode was written by Joss Whedon, Marty Noxon, and Rob Deshotel.
Ooh.
It was directed by David Greenwalt, and it aired on January 12th, 1998.
We're in 1998 now.
This is 1 month after Ted and into our second year of Buffy officially.
Could you imagine watching this live? And the last episode, Ted, was like December 7th or something. And then you had to wait until Buffy came back. We live in the age of streaming.
What a great little Christmas present for everyone.
I know.
Having John Ritter on Buffy.
John Ritter.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. Yeah, that's how they used to do it, folks. If you're younger than us listening, you had to wait. You didn't get all this one season drop like they're doing now. You had to wait.
Yeah, they had advertisers, they had sweeps, they had lots of, coordinated episode drops.
Yeah.
And guest star appearances.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
So, Ryan, what is Bad Eggs about? What does Google say?
Okay. Buffy and her friends find something peculiar about a school assignment on parenting, and 2 vampires come looking for Buffy.
They do.
They come looking for trouble.
They're looking for trouble. They're here at the old saloon.
Riding into town. Looking for trouble. Like 2 outlaws.
Yeah. Desperados
looking for a steak.
Oh boy, yeah.
And neither one of them find it, if that's what they're looking for.
This episode is wild.
I'd say the stakes are high for these 2, but
are they? We don't really know what they're doing.
I like them though. I like them.
The Gorches. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So back
we?
again. Giles is doing unto every generation, into every generation.
We're back again.
I have said from the first episode, this is the last one. Every episode, I'm like, this is it. It goes on longer than I thought. It's got to end this season. It's got to.
I don't know. But
cut to 3 years from now, we're on season 7 and Giles in every generation.
It's not stopping here, folks.
Don't stop him now.
Jenny, let's hear it.
Okay, I'm going to be reading this in the style of Lyle and Tector Gorch, who we will meet in this episode.
The Gorch brothers.
In every generation, there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer.
She is.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah.
I hear me for all your accent work, folks. Yeah, okay. I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves here, but this is not my favorite episode of Buffy.
It's interesting.
It's
Peculiar
interesting.
is a great way of Google putting it.
Peculiar
it is a
is.
peculiar episode,
Yeah.
but
All right.
I didn't fully hate it either.
I do like where we open.
We start at the mall.
The mall. I love the mall.
For you youngins,
listen up. Gather round.
Never heard about a mall. A mall was a gathering spot for a
Mhm.
lot of shops indoors.
Yes.
Where you'd go after school, you'd go on the weekends.
Socialize.
I mean, it was like the place to be. I remember going to the mall on the weekends, almost like clockwork. We would drive to the mall in Austin.
Yeah.
To Barton Creek Mall.
Shout out.
And it was the hopping place to be.
Yeah.
Abercrombie, Hollister, Dillard's, Foley's, JCPenney's. I mean, it was just like department store.
Yeah.
Central.
Yeah.
I go to a mall nowadays. That same mall
Devastating.
is a ghost town.
It's wild to be in.
It is a ghost town. Even the food court's dead. The only shops that are buzzing and busy these days are Apple, Nordstrom, and a handful of other kind of niche stores. But other than that, it's dead. I mean, that whole generation of shopping is kind of gone.
You know, around Christmas, my husband and I went to the upscale mall in Austin, the Domain.
Yeah, the outdoor mall.
And it's hopping over there. You know, it's people who have money who can spend it, but it's not the same as going to an indoor mall with a food court, with an arcade,
with an ice skating rink.
Oh, see, Waco didn't have an ice skating rink.
The Galleria did in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
So great. Yeah, I love this. Like you were saying, we used to go to the mall and just walk around. Hooters in the mall?
Yeah, there was one.
Our mall had Sbarro, a Chinese food place.
We had a Luby's at Barton Creek.
You love yourself a Luby's.
Before that. You know I love a cafeteria.
You love a cafeteria restaurant.
I am of the cafeteria generation.
I love that for you.
I do too.
Yeah. No, we didn't have all that. We had the Chick-fil-A, which was the
Chick-fil-A when it was
in the mall.
Started in the mall, yeah.
Yeah, Annie Ann's Pretzels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one that's Panda Express was in the mall?
Panda Express. Then they had like another Chinese food restaurant that was
did the Szechuan stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, Spencer's Gifts.
Spencer's Journeys.
Yes.
Doc Martens.
Guys, you used to just walk around. Even if you didn't spend money, you would meet at the mall.
Express for men.
Wet Seal.
The Gap. Wet Seal. What was the one that
Why was there a store called Wet Seal?
We can unpack that. You know who would be shopping at the Wet Seal? Cordelia Chase.
No. Cordelia Chase is a Cordelia Chase is a Nordstrom girl all the way.
Yeah.
Dillard's, Nordstrom.
Yeah, Dillard's. It would have been her.
Yeah.
Her time period.
Wet Seal's probably, what was that chick's name? Or in an earlier episode that Buffy, she was getting in trouble with, whose boyfriend's name was Meat Pie.
Darla?
Sheila.
Oh, Sheila.
Sheila was probably going to the Wet Seal and Hot Topic.
Hot Topic.
Yeah. What a time.
Yeah, but the mall was hopping. James Avery.
What was the other place?
Wilson's Leather Shop.
Yes, my mom loved. We had to go into Wilson's.
I've got a couple of checkbooks from Wilson. Why was I buying a checkbook?
That absolutely tracks.
I bought it leather.
Excuse me, I'll have this leather checkbook, please.
I'm like, sure, kid. Straight from the Bombay Company.
Yeah, whatever.
After I hit Banana Republic. Folks.
What was the other place that those people worked on commission and you walked in the door, they're like, hey, you looking good today?
Oh, hey, yeah.
What was that place?
The furniture shop?
No, it was a jeans store and they had the bedazzled jeans and they had the...
Wasn't Guess, was it?
No, it was like, this is probably my high school when the Miss Me jeans were really popular.
Robert Graham?
No, people are screaming. It was a store you walked in and it was super expensive and they all were, I just remember it was a big deal because you walked in there, you had to like steal yourself because people were going to come and overly compliment you, try to get you to buy anything.
Victoria's Secret?
No, but that was also a place.
Lane Bryant?
No.
Chums, New York?
No.
J. Crew?
No. What was that? I'll think of it at some point. Okay. But Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, no, that was the hot spot in the mall for the gals.
Yeah, the Wonder Bra, the lip gloss, the lotions. I stole Victoria's Secret.
Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works. I stole from Victoria's Secret once. It was a tester lip plumper.
Heard it, folks.
Allegedly. Statute of limitations. Allegedly.
Not in this state.
No, right. But they will at this point. They're looking for a reason to get me. No, you remember the lip plumper that was super popular that people were putting on their lips because it made them bigger, but it was really just like some chemical that made your lips burn. I stole that. Okay.
Oh my God.
Great.
Why?
I wanted it.
Okay.
My mom wouldn't buy it for me. Speaking of moms not buying stuff for you,
Joyce.
Here we go.
She's laying down the law. Man, she is.
Joyce is like, I am a mother this episode.
Joyce is salty this episode. And I think it has everything to do with Ted and the breakdown of
that relationship.
The
fact that he was a robot.
His death and subsequent resurrection, and then the whole robotedness of it all. And her daughter just kind of sabotaging what she perceived to be happiness.
Well,
so it's a lot to process. She clearly knows it's not Buffy's fault, but she never got an apology.
And she's never doing... Well, Joyce got an apology.
No, Buffy never got an apology from Joyce at the end of the last episode.
No. And Joyce is kind of acting... Joyce is supposed to be the adult, and she's... This is, like I said...
She's salty right now.
It's not a good episode for Joyce. Buffy's trying to convince Joyce to buy her this outfit. She's like, please, Mom, I need it. You don't understand. Joyce refuses. She's like, no, Buffy, you look like a streetwalker. And then, yikes.
Wow, that's your mom?
But then Buffy's response also sucks because she says, but a thin streetwalker. Yikes.
Yeah, now we're getting into the body image stuff.
Yeah. And Joyce is like, she's laden with shopping bags. She tells Buffy, hey, I got to go print the flyers for the opening. Sure. You got to go to Everyday Woman to pick up my tailoring.
Everyday Woman.
And Buffy says, Everyday Woman? You might as well go to Moo Moo's R Us. It made me laugh because Buffy's being such a brat.
She is, because she didn't get her outfit.
All right, so.
Yeah, the Moo Moo comment was pretty snarky.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And Joyce says, do now, make fun of your mother later. So Buffy gets on the escalator.
They're really communicating well.
So great. So Buffy gets on the escalator, which love an escalator.
Love a good escalator in a mall.
And I tried to screenshot this and zoom in. It looks like Buffy's wearing a black Prada backpack that was very of the time.
Probably.
And I was like, noted.
Hasn't she worn some Prada before?
She has, yes. Yeah. So we're
shout out Prada.
We saw this guy in the opening shot. We see a guy with a cowboy hat. He's talking to a girl in a brown dress with like some ribbon, white ribbon.
Yeah.
Applique or whatever. And Buffy's on the escalator and she looks over and she's going down. These other people are going up.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks in the reflection. I guess there's like reflective mirrors or something on the escalator.
Uh-huh.
And she just sees the girl, the cowboy guy. There's no reflection.
Okay. See, I missed that. I just
a
thought
little
it was
confusing.
her senses. I just thought it was her Slayer senses.
Wait.
Good catch.
I've seen this a lot.
Wow.
So yeah, she looks over and she sees them in person. And then she just looks back at the mirror and then she only sees the girl in the dress. And she's like, I must be a vampire.
Okay.
So she runs back up the escalator and she follows them into what looks like an arcade that is closed. We hear like sounds of games being played. And we hear a very country westerny sounding accent. We hear, turn around, baby. I got something to show you. Buffy walks in and she sees the girl playing pinball and the guy behind her is in full vamp face. And then he says, well, you ain't you got the prettiest neck I've ever did see. And I'm like, okay, we're leaning into this accent. And Buffy quips, like, oh, don't you guys come up with anything new?
What's he say to her? I love this.
Well, the girl first says, do you mind? We're talking here. And then Buffy looks at him. She goes, but you said you'd never cheat on me again, honey. And the girl's like, shit, gotta go. And then she runs away. And then this guy looks at Buffy and says, all right, sugar lips, giddy up.
Sugar lips.
Sugar lips. So we get into some fighty kick with this cowboy vamp and Buffy.
Which is worse.
And he says, you must be that Slayer I heard so much about. Lyle Gorch, pleased to meet you. So we learn his name is Lyle Gorch.
Hey.
Huh.
Sounds like from another time. Perhaps.
I wonder.
Perhaps
do you think? So then they're fighting and they basically split apart. And then he
pleased to meet you.
Puts his hat and does a little, and then he runs away.
Yeah, he skedaddles.
And Buffy just lets him go.
Buffy just lets him ride out of town.
He could easily go kill and murder people, and she's just like, meh.
And don't you come back. Why's she letting vampires go? This is like the 4th episode in a row where she's just casually been like, well, I'll get you at some point.
I guess she didn't have her little incense thing.
She's just not feeling it.
Who knows?
I mean, she was feeling it with Ted. She was kicking him around and I don't know. Okay.
Doesn't make sense.
Sorry.
No, it doesn't make sense. I don't have an answer. So we cut to the food court. And I loved this. It's such a food court. Like, they're filming this in an actual mall, you can tell.
Yeah.
They've got the cups that are white and they have the little design on the bottom. And they're eating Chinese food.
Which looks really good.
It does look really, really good. And then Joyce is like, Buffy, where's my dress? And Buffy's like,
yeah.
And here we go, Joyce. She goes, let me guess. You were distracted by a boy.
Again, communication.
And Buffy says, well, technically. And Joyce is just, she's so harsh. Like, she is so very harsh to Buffy. And I know it was a different time. Parents parented differently. But watching it, I'm just like, as a mother, as somebody who has a mother, I'm like, this is tough. And Joyce kind of goes on. She gets a little like, look, Joyce could be disappointed, right? She asked Buffy to do something for her,
right? And
Buffy didn't do it. Granted, we know why Buffy didn't do it. She's trying to save somebody, but
I think that the strain of Buffy's secret life,
we're seeing it,
is showing itself. It's putting her real life and her family kind of in an awkward position. I think we're feeling it. Joyce, I think, is trying to process what happened before, and then also just like these little things are adding up with her, and we get more of it toward the end of the episode.
Yeah, and she tells Buffy, a little responsibility is all I ask. Honestly, don't you ever think about anything besides boys and clothes?
You don't ever talk to your daughter. How do you know what she thinks about? You're just assuming that she's thinking about boys and clothes.
And this isn't a major spoiler, but this all does come to a head at some point. And Buffy confronts her mom. She's like, haven't you noticed anything? Right. Basically. And, Joyce is just giving her the business. And we cut to credits.
We do.
Sunnydale High. Picture it. Sunnydale High.
1998.
Utility closet. Mood music. Smooching. We got Xander and Cordelia in a closet.
Smooching with the lights off.
The music is so funny. It is so great. And she's like, Xander, they're kissing. And she's like, I'm worried we're going to be late for class. And he starts shushing her. And he says, this would work a lot better if you didn't talk. God damn it, Xander. So he turns the light on when he says that. And then they start kissing and she turns the light off. She's like, well, this would work a lot better for me if the lights were off.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, wait, he turns the lights back on. He's like, it kind of hurts my feelings that you don't want to make out with me with the lights on.
He's like, why are we doing this? We're hiding from our friends. We can't stand each other. And she gives him a dig about his clothes. She's like, your clothes and those shoes. Where did you get those shoes? And they're like, oh, I hate you. Let's get out of here. And they go to open the door and their hands touch. And then they start kissing again.
Smooching again. And the mood music starts.
It's so funny.
Tanya, it reminds me of some sort of like hot, steamy music from like Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and
what's her name? Sybil Shepherd.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a good show.
It was.
It's on streaming now.
Yeah, it is. I've been rewatching it. I used to watch it when I was that age, whenever it came out. I liked those two characters.
Someone in my family had it on VHS. I remember watching it on a VHS tape or something. I've seen Moonlighting a lot. So we leave Xander and Cordelia in the closet and we go to SEX.
We do.
Here we go, folks.
There's a lot of it in this episode, folks.
Well, there's a lot of talk of it.
There's a lot of talk of it.
Yeah. So we see a teacher writing the word sex on a blackboard and we learn later this is Mr. Whitmore. He's the teen health teacher. And he says, sex drive and the human animal is intense. And how many of us have lost countless hours plagued by unwanted sexual thoughts and feelings? And our good old pal Xander's like,
the only one with his hand in the air.
And Willow looks at him like, what?
Please put your hand out.
Please put your hand out. I mean, this scene is really funny to me.
I thought so too.
He says
that was a rhetorical question, Mr. Harris, not a poll.
And he says, for teenagers such as yourself, these feelings are overwhelming. There's lots of hormones. And I love when the camera goes to Willow's face because she's just like she's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And,
Cordelia raises her hand.
Well, because Mr. Whitmore raises the question. He's like, so, would anyone care to offer a negative consequence to sexual activity, basically? Yeah. And Cordelia, God, Chris Carpenter does this so well. She's like, well, that depends. Are you talking about sex in a car?
In the car or out of the car?
Like, because I have a friend, not me.
Kick the gear shift. And Mr. Whitmore's like, I was thinking of something a little bit more commonplace.
Yeah, he's like, good God.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
And then Xander stares at her, and then he's got to chime in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He says, what does he say? You want to talk? Oh, he's like, what about halitosis? I mean, a girl may seem spiffy, but if she ignores her flossing, the bloom is definitely off the rose.
Wow.
I'm sick. I need help.
Wow.
Cordelia Chase has amazing breath.
She does.
Fuck off, Xander. Fuck off. And I'm going to press that button again in 2 seconds. Cordelia, this got me. She's like that compares to kissing a guy who thinks the Hoover technique is a big turn on.
I wonder where he got the Hoover technique.
You think his good buddy Angel kisses like a Hoover?
I was going to say
Jesse.
Maybe his Jesse and what's the other buddy that he had to stake?
Jesse's the only one.
No, I thought he had another one after Jesse.
No, it's just our good pal Jesse.
Town. Yeah. Well,
may his memory be a blessing.
He'd like to Hoover Angel.
He would like to Hoover Angel. It's canon. And then poor Mr. Whitmore. It's not canon.
In walks Ethan Rain. I'm sorry, did someone say Hoover?
Let me tell you about the time. Let me tell you, old Ripper. Yeah. Listen, Ethan's ears are pricked up this whole episode. So
Norman Pfister thinks that the Hoover technique's overrated.
That, they should have had Norman Pfister instead of selling Blush Beauty Cosmetics. It should have been vacuums. Then Xander, gives it back to her, basically says you have to pretend to be interested in her chit chat so you could get some touch. Look, have I pretended to be interested in someone's conversation just because I thought they were hot and I wanted to make out? Sure.
Right.
But I would never in a million years describe it that way.
It's getting very personal between these two.
Gross.
Cordelia is incensed.
Willow's like, what is happening?
Mr. Whitmore's like, anyone else, please. Willow's like, hey, pregnancy.
Yeah, he's like, thank you. Someone with an answer. So then Mr. Whitmore unveils their latest class project, which they're going to get eggs. And they have to... They're going to have to care for it. They have to pick a partner, share equally in the responsibilities, and, they have to choose a partner and they come pick up the egg. This pissed me off. I don't know if you saw this, but I did. Willow gets up and smiles and looks towards Xander. He gets up, ignores her, walks over to Cordelia, and then Cordelia flips her hair and asks somebody else, hey, want to have a baby?
Yeah.
But he just leaves poor Willow. And I'm like, quit being a dick to Willow. She is your best friend.
She would have been the first person I would have gone to care for this egg.
She's the most responsible.
She's the most responsible one, yeah.
Buffy can't be bothered to be in class. She's with the adult librarian doing whatever. Yeah. So we cut to the library.
You never had to carry an egg in health class?
No, I remember my freshman year.
What about a baby?
They did the fake babies.
The fake baby.
But by the time I didn't take a home ec or a health class, it was in home ec that you did that.
Okay.
We did have health, but it was a coach who was not there a lot. And it was basically It was worksheets about not having sex, which, spoiler alert, everybody was having sex for the most part. Mm-hmm. But we grew up in a very conservative state. I grew up in a very conservative town. It was abstinence only based sex education. So yeah, it really worked. We go to the library where Buffy is studying demon stuff with Giles, not in class.
Not in class.
And, Willow asks, how come you weren't in class? And Buffy says, vampire issues. They give Buffy her egg, and Willow's kind of excited. She talks about how they have to, hold on, I want to do the Christian Jewish comment.
They gave more than eggs because they were giving a lot with these sweaters that they've got on. Xander's sweater
Slay.
And Willow's sweater are sleighs.
They are absolutely slays.
Yeah. And Giles' sweater vest is a sleigh.
Giles looks great. This whole episode, he looks great. And Willow and Xander tell her, hey, this is your baby. And Buffy's kind of confused. Obviously, she hasn't gone to health class in a minute because she doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
And Xander says, the whole sex leads to responsibility thing, which personally I don't get. You got to take care of the egg. It's a baby. You got to keep it safe and teach it Christian values. And Willow says, my egg is Jewish. Xander responds with, then teach it that dreidel song. This made me laugh.
It's cute.
It's super cute. I want to know more about Sunnydale's Jewish community.
Yeah.
The Rosenbergs are Jewish. Who else?
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to spin off.
Yeah.
I want to know. Are they reform? Are they conservative? What's going on?
Well, based upon Willow, I would say that they're reform. Yeah.
And I want to know.
But there's 43 churches, so surely there's a conservative group there too.
What do they think about all the shenanigans happening in this town?
I don't know.
Want to know. Buffy's like, so I can put a lot of this work of taking care of the egg on my partner. And they're like, oh, hey, about that.
She's like, what? Who's my partner?
Yeah. Like, you weren't there. She's like, I'm a single mother. I'm doomed to live my mother's life. How deeply scary is that? Joyce has been a single mother for maybe a year, Buff.
Right.
Let's pump the brakes.
Yeah, she's still pretty harsh on her mom.
They're pretty harsh with each other. And we learn that Giles has discovered the cowboy vamp. We know his name is Lyle Gorch. He and his brother,
Tector. Okay.
Tector Gorch. They're from Abilene.
You know what Tector means?
No.
I had to look it up. It's a noun, and it is a plasterer or a painter or a decorator.
Huh.
A tector. A tector.
I have never heard of that. I assumed they were trying to make it sound Texas and Western.
Well, so I looked it up, and I think maybe it is an homage to a couple of films. There is a Tector Gorch is the name of a character in the 1969 film The Wild Bunch.
Oh, that's totally where they pulled this. That's a Joss Whedon thing for sure.
Tector Kreitz is a character in the 1972 film The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. So it's kind of a Western. There's a Tector class Star Destroyer in the service of the Imperial Navy in the Galactic Civil War. It guards the second was the star killer, the planet killer, what would they call it?
Not the Death Star.
The Death Star. Yeah, it's one of the Imperial ships that's protecting the Death Star.
Wow.
That gets destroyed.
Definitely Joss Whedon pulled from all this. That's amazing.
That's it. So Tector Gorch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We learned that they were from Abilene, Texas. Kyle says they massacred a Mexican village in 1886. Mm-hmm. That was before they became vampires. So these are not good people. And they're like, what are they doing here? Is it got to be something? Who's planning what? And Giles is like, I wouldn't worry about it. They don't really seem about great thinkers of our time. They're probably just here because it's the Hellmouth. Mm-hmm. And they all kind of do a cute thing. Xander says, I vote Buffy slays them. All in favor? And Willow goes, aye.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Hey, no vote necessary, buddy. It's literally her charge.
It's her job. We wouldn't know because we don't have the handbook.
Right.
And Giles is confused that they all have eggs. Because Giles is, bumbling around a lot this episode. Not bumbling, but he just kind of, until the end, he like pops out.
He is.
You know what I mean?
His mind is on his books.
Yes.
He's categorizing.
That.
I don't know what he's doing.
None of us do.
Yeah.
And Willow says, maybe Angel could help you hunt for the Gorches. Mm-hmm. And Xander's like, oh, I'm sure a lot of hunting will get done then. And Buffy's like, grow up, Xander. Oh, please. Like Angel and I are just helpless slaves to passion. Cut to
the cemetery
where
they are smooching.
And this scene made me laugh because they're like doing the kiss thing. And they're like, okay, we should stop.
We should really search for some vampires. Do you see any? No, I don't see any. Okay.
Smooch. And funny background. Sarah Michelle Gellar has given interviews where she talks about her and David Boreanaz. They got along really well. Yeah. And there were times when before they would have a kissing scene, he would deliberately eat sardines or eat onions or really stinky things.
That's not fun.
But she was telling it like it was fun.
I'm sure it was, but man, can you imagine?
No. So the Gorches, we see Lyle and his brother sitting on top of a crypt, and they're watching Buffy and Angel make out. And I just noted that these actors are played by James Parks, who plays Tector, and Lyle played by Jeremy Ratchford. And they're like full tilt Western. They're wearing the hats.
They're all in.
They've got dusters.
I like it.
I do too. They've got shirts tucked in.
I don't think it makes any sense, but I like it. I'm here for it.
No goddamn sense. They're wearing boots, full talking about full tilt.
Yeah. They look like they walked straight out of, Yellowstone, Wyatt Earp, or Tombstone, or one of those shows. Yeah.
It's great. I do enjoy it.
Like you said, the only thing that was missing were their horses.
Yeah. And, they're talking about Buffy and Angel. Mm-hmm. And they're like, why, if she's a slayer, why isn't she slaying him? And how come he's about to make me blush? These characters make
Let's unpack that.
They make no sense.
Tector. Let's unpack that, buddy. Cowboys are frequently secretly fond of each other, as Willie Nelson would say.
Yeah, as he would say. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Well, Angel's making them blush.
Angel.
What are you feeling there, buddy?
Look, Angel's making everybody blush. Xander.
Everybody's stirring.
Everybody. Oh, God. And Lyle is like wanting to he wants to be tempered with Buffy.
Right.
Tector's like, let's go get him, blah, blah, blah. And he's
Lyle's
like,
the older brother.
Yes. He's like, let's leave it. Let's wait till she's alone. Yeah. And, the little brother's like, why are you scared? Just look. They have a great relationship. It's a very older brother, younger brother situation.
Yeah. And also just the comic relief. It's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of it all.
It is. And, they call out, they're like, is that Angelus?
Mm-hmm. Angelus.
Do they not know that Angelus is angel? Like he's got a soul? Do they not know?
Apparently a whole lot of people don't know because everyone who's come to town and been like, that's fucking Angelus. They're like, whoa. He's not the same guy anymore. He's
not the same guy. Yeah. You were my sire, man.
I don't think a memo went out. I don't think that clearly the Watcher Council did not send out a memo. They don't care whether or not he's got a soul or not. He's a vamp. He's a goner.
They didn't care there was a new Slayer. So yeah, why would they?
What are they doing? They're just sipping their tea and toddies.
Yes. Well, maybe we'll have our next retreat in the Cotswolds. What say you? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So they, decide Lyle basically says, hey, we're going to wait till she's alone and we'll take her out. We cut to Buffy's room. We both noticed this. The lighting in this episode is off. The lighting is almost fluorescent in some scenes. And this is one of them. It's so bright.
I think a lot of this was mostly shot on a studio soundstage. And I guess something's off with the lights.
Something. And she's doing her little egg checklist. She's like feeding, check, diaper change, ew, check. And she tells the egg, good night, little Egbert. And again, point of order. I'm making a point of order button. It's happening today. She is sleeping in a bra, not a sports brassiere. It is a full-on padded bra. And homegirl did not take her makeup off.
Yeah.
Terrible for your skin.
You've noted this a couple of times. Is it a teenager thing?
No, it's a TV movie thing. Okay. They don't want to show women looking like they really do when they go to sleep, which is not fresh-faced and beautiful all the time. Right.
I remember watching the 80s sitcoms, and they were all in negligees with their hair done and their makeup on as they were getting into bed.
Full stop.
Full tilt.
I mean, and I like the negligee is okay, but the full guiche is too much.
Right.
It's too much. And it always stands out to me because I remember being that age and I didn't really wear makeup, but I just remember being like, man, sleeping in a bra seems so uncomfortable because it is.
It's probably uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I think it's probably it's TV. You can't have boobs. Another thing I noticed, the crochet pillow is now behind a new pillow.
Thank God.
With just a regular pillowcase.
Finally.
It's killing me.
We can all sleep better.
Yeah.
Including Buffy. And
we cut to, it's like the same scene, but you can tell time has passed. She's asleep. We see her alarm clock. It says it's 2:03 in the morning. And the egg starts to shake and starts to crack. And we see these little tentacles. And they come out and they get on Buffy's face. And it's gross, gross, gross. I don't like tentacles.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was the movie Attack of the Body Snatchers or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I've not seen that.
Gross.
So we leave Buffy there and we go to the sewers.
You don't like tentacles.
Sorry. I don't.
That's great.
I don't like tentacles in movie, like little, no. No. That's one of the things on the boys where I'm just like with the deep and what's her name? Genesis?
Yeah.
Starina?
Whatever.
Octopus?
Yeah.
How does I gotta finish the boys. I gotta see how that.
I can't say anything.
Okay. It grosses me out. So anyway, we go to the sewers. The Gorches are there. They're looking a little dirty. Dirtier than they were in the cemetery.
Well, yeah, they're hanging out in a fucking sewer.
And Tector's like, man, I'm over rats. So they've been eating rats.
Yeah.
he's like, can't we go stay at a motel?
This is a great little back and forth.
Oh,
the dialogue here
is
is fantastic. Would you like to do a vampire black box theater with these two?
I would, and I've got a prop for this one. Are you ready?
Sure.
On today's edition of Vampire Black Box Theater, the role of Lyle Gorch will be played by Ryan something, and the role of Tector Gorch will be played by me, Jen Katz.
We cut to the sewers the next morning, and the Gorch brothers are relaxing and waiting on the sunlight that's visible at the end of the tunnel. We cut to the sewers the next morning. The Gorch brothers are relaxing and waiting out the sunlight that's visible at the end of the tunnel. Tector's having breakfast, and Lyle's laying back with his feet up and has his face covered with his hat.
I'm tired of Rat. How come we can't stay in a nice place? A motel or something? Maybe one with an ice machine.
'Cause we got to keep a low profile till we get this Slayer business taken care of.
Well, how come Angelus is getting all cuddly with her, Lyle? I mean, does the man have no code?
Tector, you gonna be pestering me with all these questions all damn day?
I just don't like it here. Ain't a decent whore in the whole city limits.
So, this is the thanks I get. Well, don't I take care of you? Didn't I raise you myself? Burden that you were, maybe. I should have left you on that doorstep when Mama blew out of town.
Don't say that, Lyle.
Now I'm taking care of this.
You afraid of the girl?
I'm just playing it safe. We're just gonna follow her around a little while, find our time, because this ain't over.
I think you are afraid of the Slayer.
All right, I'm gonna beat you like a red-headed stepchild. Throw your ass out in the sunlight. Come on.
You think you can?
Giddy up, son. He adjusts his hat and coat while he waits for Tector to stand up. Tector adjusts his hat, too, and they smile at each other. He rears back and takes the first swing, hitting Lyle squarely in the jaw. Lyle looks at his brother and nods and punches him hard in the face. Tector has to take a couple of steps backward to keep from losing his balance.
Man.
He comes back and punches Lyle in the gut, and Lyle doubles over in an instant and then straightens up and gives Tector a wild smile. Yippee-ki-yay, matey. He throws another punch at his brother.
And that was Vampire Black Box Theater.
Yeehaw!
Yeah!
Okay.
Well,
all of this.
It's made me laugh. There's
so much fun.
There's questionable language, right? Like,
yeah, like beat you like a redheaded
stepchild,
yeah, which I've heard before.
Ain't no whores in the city limits. Right. Which what? Like, what?
Listen, they've been alive for almost 200 years, right?
Well, no, they were turned in like the 1880s, right? So 100 years.
So over 100 years, right?
Yeah.
They've got plenty of time to develop into civilized individuals. Time has passed. We don't live in the Wild West anymore.
Yeah. What
have they been doing? Biding their time.
Biding their time. And why are they in Sunnydale?
I don't know.
We won't find out.
Because of the energy of the Hellmouth, remember? Giles is like,
Giles says that. We never hear from the Gorches what they're doing. Just pointing that out there.
We heard there's some vamps in Sunnydale that are a bit like us. A little different.
Came looking for Spike.
And Angelus. We heard that they're a pair.
They're a pair. Okay.
I do like the music surrounding these two. It's just like the guitars, it's like riffs.
The music in this episode is so noticeable.
Yeah.
I don't always notice music. I've seen the show again a lot.
Yeah.
I don't. People be like, oh, it's Buffy and Angel's theme. And then sometimes I'll catch it. Sometimes I don't. But this episode, I'm like, the music.
They went full tilt on the.
They did.
On the drama music this episode.
It's good.
It's good.
So we go back to Buffy's house. It's morning. She wakes up. The alarm goes off. And WTF, mate, the egg is whole. It's not cracked. What's going on here? She goes downstairs and she takes a sip of Joyce's coffee.
She's a little moody too.
She's not herself. And, Buffy or Joyce asks her, are you sure your egg is secure in that thing? And Buffy kind of snaps at her with, did I ask for backseat mommying? And she's like, oh, someone's touchy. Yeah. And Buffy tells her, she's tired. She didn't sleep well. Mm-hmm. We go to the library. Buffy and Willow are just like, they drag themselves to the steps that lead up to the stacks and they just kind of drape themselves. Xander seems fine. Mm-hmm. And Giles asks, why are you three hanging about? Where else would they be? Why are you surprised that they're in the library? They're always in the library.
Yeah, they're ditching out.
And we learned that Teen Health got canceled.
Oh, yeah, because Mr. Whitmore went missing.
He's gone missing, yeah. Whitmore. And Xander is, tossing his egg around. He's just monologuing about how to raise a child.
Anyway, he drops his egg.
Yeah, because, he tells them, you can't stress over every little thing. That's a one-way ticket to Neurotic City. And I'm like, population me?
Yeah, Willow's like, hey, why didn't your egg break?
Yeah, because it's not just like a little oops. It's a full-on drop.
Yeah, like it hits the ground and she's suspicious now. And he's like, well, I may have boiled it for 8 minutes.
And Willow says, you boiled your young?
Which I also have questions about whether or not a boiled egg would crack if you dropped it like that. But
I feel like it would.
It's neither here nor there.
It would still crack. It's still a shell. Anyway.
Yeah. For show purposes, we're going with it. It didn't crack. He boiled it.
He did. And do like Giles is like, something Machiavellian about this, about what you did. And Xander's like, hey, I resent that. Unless it's a compliment.
In which case, thank you.
Yeah.
And then Cordelia comes streaking around the corner.
She is a sleigh.
And this is maybe the sleigh outfit of the episode.
Oh, I think her later one's the sleigh. But this she kills this episode.
Yeah, she's in a heather gray skirt with a maroon top and sweater. Mm-hmm. And she's got tights and kind of the short clogs.
It's great.
Shoes on. She's got this like necklace that matches the whole outfit and a
teddy bear
backpack. And the
her dad got it from Gestalt.
That's right.
It's so weird.
And I know that you said Buffy's outfit was kind of a nay for you, but
don't like it.
Pointing out the purple outfit that Buffy's got on with kind of the polyester long skirt and the halter top, which was and the would you say the low platform?
The loafers, but she's wearing tights with it.
This is just very for its time.
Yeah,
it's a sleigh.
Sure. I think on Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's a short, petite person, and the outfit wears her. And I think maybe that's part of the reason why I don't like it, because she's got the purple camisole with maybe like, I don't know if the detailing is red or her bra is red. Mm-hmm. It's too much of like a monochromatic with the pop of red. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. But I think you're right. If 1998, she would have been on trend.
Yeah, it was very on trend for the 90s. And, Cordelia's got the same, color palette thing going on where it's just the maroon on top of the maroon on top of the gray.
Yeah.
With the maroon details on the skirt. It's a sleigh for sure.
It is. And she comes in. She's like, hey, Mr. Whitmore is missing and presumed dead. And they're like, presumed dead by who? She goes, well, by me. And she's like, Xander, perhaps we should check some closets. He might have gotten stuck in a closet, drug into a closet. Closets.
Xander's like, yeah, closets.
Gotta go.
Makeout session.
And they run off. Wink. And Buffy and Willow were like, something's weird about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of smooching, old Angelus and Buffy are at it again.
They are. They're at it again.
Yeah. And
they're getting a little hot and heavy with the words that they're saying to one another.
They're leveling up, because she says, as much as I hate saying this, we should go home and kill some bad guys. And I got to go home and fill out my egg diary. And she's like, I definitely don't want kids right now, but I may want kids one day soon when I'm done having a life.
Mm-hmm.
Then we learn.
Kind of tossing it out there.
Yeah.
Or can vampires have babies?
Well, we learn from Angel. He's like, I wouldn't know. He's like, I can't have children. So I guess canon in the show, vampires cannot sire children.
Now we know.
Okay,
so I mean that's kind of a dead end for her if she wants kids. Outside of adoption, right? Or a surrogacy.
That's right. Yeah. Where it could be her, her biological child. Right. And we also learned that Buffy believes, or Buffy knew some things. Mm-hmm. Vampires can't work at the telephone company.
We don't know why.
Why? They can't volunteer at the Red Cross. That makes sense. And they can't have little vampires, which also makes sense. They're dead. They
could volunteer at the Red Cross.
They probably shouldn't.
Yeah, they make it a good policy not to.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering about the phone thing.
That please, if anyone's right in, missing? Why? You don't have to work during the day.
Is there a pun there? I'm missing something.
No. It's weird. It's such a weirdly specific thing to say.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay, so
yeah.
No phone company, no
Red Cross.
Red Cross, and no.
They can't have little vampires.
Can't have little vamps, little vamp babies.
Which for me personally, I prefer that mythology. Mm-hmm. I just think like vampires are you're a demon, but the body is dead. You survive on blood and magic. I'm thinking of Twilight, where Edward gets Bella pregnant, and I don't understand.
He's not the werewolf. He's
a vampire. Okay. Yeah.
Never seen it.
A spoiler alert. And then she basically dies giving birth, and they have to turn her.
Oh my God.
And that's how she survives. They turn her into a vampire.
Does the kid survive?
Uh-huh.
Does it stay that age?
No. But is she a vampire? And the kid's name is Renesmee. Oh, and guess what? The werewolf.
$10 if you can spell it.
Reneeesme.
Okay, well, we'll have to prove it before you get your money.
Renesmee. Oh, and then God, this book is fucking unhinged. So the werewolf Jacob, who was in the love triangle with Bella and Edward.
Sure.
When Renesmee is born, Jacob imprints upon her, and they're mates. So he's mated to a baby that when she grows up, it's gonna be fine. Like nothing weird's gonna happen until she's an adult. So, and Buffy's kind of like, you can tell she's like a little taken aback because she hadn't really thought about that.
Then he asks her, he's like, well, what do you see in the future?
Yeah.
And she says, when I look to the future, all I see is you.
Yeah. All I want is you.
And I'm like, okay, let's unpack this. I mean, this is a big warning sign in their relationship. Not a warning sign. What am I trying to look for? It's like a caution. This is like a big flashing caution sign in the relationship, which is, what's the reality of their relationship? We're getting into like the nitty gritty of getting beyond just the honeymoon phase.
The smoochies.
The smoochie. It's like, hey, Buffy may want kids someday. He's unable to have kids. Okay, cool. So that's on the table.
Buffy's a slayer. She's strong, but she's still mortal. She's going to die.
She's also tasked with killing vampires. He is one.
Yeah.
He's got a soul now. What happens if he doesn't someday?
They don't know.
Is it possible to reverse that? There's lots of questions here.
Yep.
And so
it's interesting.
From the end of this scene, the camera pans over and you see this headstone that says "In Loving Memory."
Yeah, it's a very interesting choice.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah. So we go to the school. It's the same night, and there's a security guard. Huh. Where has the Sunnydale High School security team been this entire show?
Listen, it's also a person of color.
Yeah. So if you missed the disclaimer at the top of the episode, part of the discussion we're going to get into is treatment of people of color on the show, and in general, the racism that people of color experience. Here we go again. We have another person of color who's...
Yeah, so there's two things to unpack here. One is like, okay, cool. There's a security guard. Yeah, what's going on here? Because there never is one. And that is totally worth commenting on. And then there is of course, they're going to make the security guard who's not going to make it.
Well, I guess technically he might just be the mindless, like, drone robot people.
Right.
Digging and doing whatever.
Right. But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
He's gone. He's not for this.
No.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
And I mean, the treatment of Kendra a couple episodes ago. And What's My Line?
We're going to see something later in this episode.
At the beginning of this season, the vampire who is, taken out by Buffy in the first episode. I can't remember his name.
The vampire of color.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a theme, unfortunately, throughout the show.
Right. Few and far between. And they're always kind of characters that
they're one-dimensional or they're killed.
One-dimensional or killed off.
Yeah. So this security guard is looking around the school. He goes down into the basement because he hears noises, and then he gets smacked over the head
by the sex ed teacher,
Mr. Whitmore.
Knew he was a creep.
Knew something was off about that guy.
What he was talking about in class. I'm like, sir,
No. I'm all for like real talk sexual education, not abstinence based. I think that's a joke.
Right.
But some of the things, it was like, maybe not. So anyway, yeah, he hits him with a pickaxe and like shoves him through. It's like a big opening in the wall. And we're like, okay, what's going on there? We'll find out. So we go to Buffy's room again, and she's climbing through a window, and the egg is wiggling.
Wobbling.
It's wiggling, wobbling. And then it looks like a scorpion, like a giant scorpion with more tentacles. It jumps on her face.
Right.
And she's fighting it. It goes under the bed. She grabs an iron, like you would iron your clothes.
Right. She thinks she's going to smack it. Not
under the bed. She stands up, and it comes from the roof and lands on her again. It's so creepy. Yeah. And she flings it off. It's loose in her room. Now she has sewing scissors. And again, the music, there's like horror music happening right now.
Yeah.
And she like hones her Slayer senses and knows where it is. And she stabs it to the wall. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. She calls Willow and she's like, Willow, is your egg doing something weird? Willow's like, no, was it supposed to be? And she's like, I put it in the fridge. Maybe what you're experiencing is a trap from the Gorches. Buffy's like, oh, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Go back to sleep.
Good thinking.
Yeah. Willow's jammies, as you pointed out, super cute.
Super cute jams.
Little smiley faces on them.
Yeah. It's very Willow.
But unfortunately, we see when Willow hangs up.
Right.
The egg has cracked.
Egg is cracked.
And there's something amiss.
And something is amiss. So we know that Willow was not telling the truth.
Right.
And we're back to Buffy's room.
Boy, howdy.
Joyce walks in.
She's
her jammies.
Not pleased. Love her robe. Her robe is great.
And she's like, who are you talking to on the phone? And then sees that Buffy's fully dressed because she just came in.
Yeah.
She's like, and where are you going? And Buffy doesn't really have an answer. She's like, I was talking to Willow.
Yeah.
She wasn't feeling too good. She's like, but Joyce isn't having it.
No.
Even though it's true. She was talking to Willow. She was checking in on her. Joyce is like, if you think that's going to work on me, you got another thing coming. You are grounded.
Grounded. Cuts to the car. Joyce is still talking about it.
It's the next morning.
Yeah.
And she's grounded. Here are the terms of the grounding conditions. She's dropping the hammer down on Buffy.
Big time.
And no after school socializing.
Nope.
No bronze.
Nope.
No nothing.
Nothing.
You're going to go to the library and you're going to stay there until I come and get you after class.
Yeah, because she's like, school ends at 2:45. You will go straight to the library
where you will study
there. Yeah.
until I pick you up. And I'm like, well, that's actually kind of convenient.
That works for Buffy.
Works for Buffy. Go straight to the library.
Yeah. And Buffy gets out of the car, and Buffy and all of the background extras in this scene slay. Their outfits are great.
They all look really great. Whoever did costuming for this episode.
Tip of the hat.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. And we see Buffy go up to Cordelia, and she's like, nice bear. And Cordelia's like, hey, listen, my dad bought this in Gestalt like years ago, and then all these people started wearing it. And I thought, hey, I was the trendsetter here. I'm going to wear it. And Buffy, she keeps going, and Buffy's like, okay, soliloquy girl, I just have a question.
She is. Cordelia's a trendsetter.
Yeah, Cordelia is a trendsetter.
She should get credit for that bear if everyone else is wearing it.
True. Justice for Cordelia and her bear from Gestalt.
Yeah.
Buffy asks Cordelia, she goes, hey, is your egg acting odd? Cordelia says, Buffy, it's an egg. It doesn't emote. Her delivery of that is so great.
Yeah, their conversations are always that way, where Buffy will ask something that Buffy hasn't fully explained either.
Yeah, it's like making sense in Buffy's head.
Cordelia's like, can we just like speak plainly?
Yeah.
Like, it always seems like as if Buffy's the crazy one.
Exactly. And I love it. I love it.
Half right.
Yeah. So now.
Yeah. So we go from that to Cordelia sees someone out of the corner of her eye and she calls their attention. And this is where we get into some of the racial microaggression, because she asks her, I forgot.
Shanice.
She asks Shanice if her hair is real.
Yeah, she goes, Shanice, oh my God, is that your real hair?
Is that your real hair? And this is played by a black actress.
Mm-hmm.
And it may have gone unnoticed, and something that was just maybe commonplace for a very long time, having white people comment on people of color's hair, whether they were, black or Pacific,
South Asian.
South Asian.
Yeah.
There's just don't comment.
No, and I feel like it really was a trend, and I hate to say trend, but it was something that happened a lot in media, but also in real life.
It was a thing.
It was a thing, and it was, I feel from just personal media consumption, it happened. It was oftentimes directed at Black men and Black women. Like, can I touch your hair?
Right.
Is your hair real? And it is, I'm a white woman. I do not want to speak to the experiences of Black people. But what I have learned is that is just an egregious form of like a microaggression, because on the surface, it's not rude or mean, but it is othering people.
You're othering other people.
You are othering someone else.
Right.
And you are making them almost like less than a person who deserves boundaries and space.
Because of your skin tone.
Yeah.
I'm going to question your features.
And that's one of the things that's
gross.
It's gross, and why it's a microaggression, because it could be someone like Cordelia who's probably like, I'm not a racist, but what you are doing is racist.
Right.
It's not overtly racist where someone's like, the South will rise again, waving Confederate flags.
Right.
But it's still racist and disrespectful and wrong.
Yeah. You're not being very conscientious of the other person.
It was hard. It was hard to hear this.
It was hard. I mean, both of us just were immediately like flabbergasted. Just like took the air out of the room.
It did
for a good 30 seconds before we were like, okay, we need to address this topic.
Yeah,
because it seems on the surface, like you said, in 1998, probably went straight past it. No one blinked an eye.
Oh, and it was written by white people.
But I can't imagine what the actress felt
playing
that role. And also, other people I'm sure could relate to it watching it. So anyway, point of order. And, Emily Post etiquette, maybe not comment.
Don't comment on people's hair, bodies.
Don't other people.
Don't other people.
Okay.
So Xander is in the quad too. He's eating like, I guess, a protein bar. He's like, ooh, cardboardy. And he takes his egg out of his bag, says, basically like, sorry, kid, daddy's got to eat. And he starts to crack this hard-boiled egg that's how many days old at this point?
Yeah, like 2 days old.
It's pretty gross.
And we know it to have some sort of alien creature in it.
Yeah. So. And we see Buffy, Willow, and Cordelia are walking towards Xander at this point. And Cordelia, this is my Cordelia sleigh. Because we don't really get to see the full outfit when she's talking to Buffy, but now we do. It's a leather skirt.
It looks great.
Black tights, black shoes, a white shirt underneath with a leather vest on top.
Peak fashion.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Buffy looks great. She's kind of got the checked pants.
She's got a plaid pair of pants on with a pink camisole.
And those little shrug almost things that tied in the middle. It was very popular of the time.
Yeah.
Willow's
got a high-waisted, dark, kind of a, what would you call it? And Willow has a dark indigo high-waisted jean on with a great belt. And then she's got this purple top.
Long sleeve top
that's actually kind of cropped in the back. Looks great.
And is it like an iridescent kind of shiny material?
Yeah, it's kind of a polyester.
Yes.
Yeah, purple print.
And we see, because the shirt's a little higher cut, we see on her lower back is one of those bugs, the scorpion thing.
We see the tentacles.
And Xander has cracked open his egg. He's getting ready to eat it. And he freaks out and throws it. Ooh. Which his reaction, Nicholas Brendan does that was a good.
He's good at reactions.
It was good. So we go to the science lab and they've got the bug like on a little tray that you used to do dissections on.
This is perfect. Buffy's been looking for something.
Yes. And Xander's like, can I just say?
Buffy's like, only if I can say. Ugh.
Yeah. And this next, like it's Xander, Buffy, and Cordelia. Then Willow comes in and Willow's like, she says, oh, Giles said to start without us. Weird, but okay.
She's already gotten to Giles.
And then Cordy says, okay, what is it? And Xander being a dick, we don't know what it is, Cordelia. That's why we're here. Capiche?
She's like, capiche? Okay, world traveler.
Yeah. Fuck off, Xander.
I'm sick. I need help.
He's just so annoying.
Yeah, but I love that there's someone who can hold their own around him. Gives it right back to him.
Yeah.
Besides Buffy.
But arguably Cordelia does it more than Buffy, because Buffy just kind of lets a lot of stuff roll.
Yeah. Well, Cordelia's quick with the whips.
Yeah. And whoa. Well, she's wearing that leather. Cue Rihanna S&M. Suck fast. So
with that outfit, I'm in.
We cut to the back of Cordelia, and her bear is starting to like move, and we see little tentacles coming out of the bear.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's gross. And Willow says maybe the offspring used them to return to the mother Bazoar. Huh? And then they all of a sudden they knock out.
Bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
How bizarre.
Ooh, eggies. Ooh, eggies.
That purple outfit would have come in great for this video.
Every time I look around, there's a bazaar in my face. Okay. So don't judge what happens in my household.
What's more contains adult content.
Don't you judge me. So Cordy and Willow knock out Buffy and Xander.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Jarring.
Knock them out.
Knock them out.
She hits Buffy with what looks like a golf club.
I can't even tell.
I don't even know what it was. And then Xander gets knocked out by Willow, which, hey, maybe he deserved that.
And, yes, he did. And so they drag them and put them in a closet. And then all of a sudden we cut to like students in this.
Tortillas. I know a closet we can put them.
This is his favorite closet. And then we see all the students in this utility room. I don't know what's happening, but they're getting tools. They're all in like a little line, and they're just walking like this. They're grabbing pickaxes and axes,
shovels, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
And then they go into the basement,
down the hallway, down the stairs, into the school basement, which is labeled and marked
very clearly.
Yeah, very clearly.
And they go into where we saw Mr. Whitmore push the security guard. It's like a big hole in the wall. So go to the library. Joyce is here trying to find Buff. Buffy's not there.
Not happy.
Yeah.
It's dark. Joyce has been waiting.
Yeah. And no
one's in the library. This
was cute though. She's hello. And then Giles pops up. Oh, hello. Hello. And she says, I'm here to pick up Buffy. And he's like, oh, she hasn't been in. And Joyce is perturbed.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into Joyce, this to make me laugh. She goes, should I be whispering?
Yeah.
Giles is like, no, that's not necessary.
Yeah.
And it's tough. She asked Giles, do you have children, Mr. Giles? And he's, I think he says, no, I haven't any children, except sometimes I feel working here. And Joyce is like, yeah, shut up. I don't want to use the word burden, but actually, yes, I do want to use the word burden.
Yeah.
Tough.
Kids are a burden.
Tough.
And she says they're irresponsible. Yeah. Okay, Joyce, we know who you're talking about. Right now.
Yeah, the gig is up.
One daughter. And
who else could she be talking about?
Who else would you be talking about? So what you're telling us is that you find being mother to Buffy a burden. You find her to be irresponsible, which she's pointed out on multiple occasions about Buffy needing to take responsibility.
And it's just hard for us as the viewers because we see Buffy saving the world.
Right. Yeah. And Giles, unfortunately, at this moment, bamboozles Joyce.
He does.
By placing one of these little alien
gross
tentacle things on her back.
He's basically like, look over there. I do like, oh no, because they're like, what was that? And Joyce looks and he's like, gah. And there's a really funny line too where Joyce looks at a book Giles has and it's like Bristow's Demon Index. And he's like, yes, hobby of mine that has absolutely nothing to do with Buffy. He like moves the book.
I didn't catch that.
He puts the bug on her and now Joyce and Giles are in the assembly line.
They are. They start marching down to the basement with the others.
Yeah.
The music is like very intense. It's like a summer blockbuster, like dramatic music.
They came back from this break with a bang.
With a musical budget.
I'm telling you. We cut to the closet. Buffy's woken up. She's got a big bruise on her head.
Yeah.
She wakes Xander up. And Xander, as he wakes up, says, last time Cordy drugged me in here was a lot nicer. And Buffy says, huh? He goes, head trauma. I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore me.
Oh, yeah. He almost got caught.
Gig was almost up. And he keeps saying like, oh, my head, like it really hurts. And there's 2 eggs. And Buffy grabs a toolbox and just smashes them, breaks the door open, and they get out and they head to the library to see if they can get Giles to help.
Giles is nowhere to be found.
Nope, but they see some eggshells and they're like, shit. They got to Giles. So all the adults are going down into the basement. They're like robots. They're just stone-faced, pickaxing, digging, breaking into the concrete. One guy is handing Cordelia eggs. She's wiping them off. They're putting them in a crate. It's an assembly line.
Yeah, something's happening.
Something's happening. Go to the library. Buffy and Xander are trying to figure out what's happening. And they're like, what did Willow say? She said a word.
Right.
They remember she said Bazoar. They do some research in a book that was already open. And it turns out the Bazoar eggs attached to a host to control it. But
because of course.
So they learn that the Bazoar is a prehistoric parasite. The mother hibernates underground, laying eggs. Then the offspring attach themselves to a host, taking control of their motor functions through neural clamping. Gross. And so basically people are taking orders from the Bazoar. And like, so what does the mother want? Then they hear someone screaming. They run out.
I wonder if the Bazoar mother finds it a burden.
She must. She's got how many eggs?
How many kids does she have?
She hears Joyce and she's like, preach it, sister. Which in between somewhere here, we cut back to the basement and we see the Bazoar. And it's like, looks like a brain underground. It's all squishy and
looks like Craig from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, gross. Yeah. Buffy and Xander hear someone screaming. It's our good pal, Jonathan. Who, guys, every time we see Jonathan now, Ryan's first thing is that the guy who was the cowboy in the Inca episode?
The cowboy sitting on the staircase.
Yeah, and it is. It's Jonathan. Yeah. And they're like, he says, get it off me. And then they get to him and he's like, they said, whoa, what's wrong? He says, oh, nothing. I slipped. And then he walks off. So
they got him.
Buffy and Xander follow because they're like, okay, he's going to lead us to the Bazoar. How Bazoar. They go downstairs and we see more of the mama Bazoar. It's gross looking. It's all, it's, how did it get under here? I've got so many questions that this episode does not answer.
There's been a lot of shit coming out of the ground at this
That's
school.
true. The hellmouth of it all.
Going to be some foundation issues.
Oh, God, can you imagine the work? Xander breaks off and goes in another direction because I think he sees Cordelia. So he's going to go follow Cordelia.
Yeah.
Buffy gets confronted by our good pals. Lyle and Tector. Oh, God. And so they all start fighting.
Yeah. Buffy has this great little quip. She says, this really isn't a good time.
Yeah.
And Lyle says, oh, it's gonna be. Love it. The vamp outlaw.
And then Joyce sees them, and so does Willow. And Willow just says, kill them. So the people start attacking Buffy and the Gorch brothers. Mm-hmm. One of them hits Lyle, I think, and hits Tector.
Hits Tector, and Tector kind of stumbles.
Well, he gets punched, and Lyle says, hey, that's my brother. And so they don't know what's going on. We get clarification that the Gorches have nothing to do with the Bazoar. The Bazoar's doing its own thing. The Gorches are over here.
They're their own little plot.
We don't know what's happening.
For no good reason.
Giles comes at Buffy because he's following the orders, and they're just like zombies. And then we're about to get into a really uncomfortable scene. We mentioned at the top of the episode, this discussion is going to contain violence, and it's tough. So if you need to skip ahead, go for it. Xander finds Cordelia. And Cordelia, does she hit him?
Yeah, she does. He's walking away from her.
Yeah.
And she's coming after him.
Xander's trying to get through to Cordelia. And he's like, I'm not going to say I haven't wanted to punch you before, but I would. And she hits him because she's in zombie mode. And he's like, ow, my head. He's like, I'll kill you. He says, I'll kill you.
Yeah, his first response to her is, I'll kill you.
And then he hits her.
And he just kind of stares at her, and then he gives her an upper punch. Like, just
he could have easily disarmed her and grabbed her in a different way.
Absolutely. No.
It's one of those things like when Xander assaults Buffy. This is never going to be addressed again.
No.
And it's troubling.
This is that side of him that we just saw.
Right. I'll kill you.
I'll kill you.
Dude.
Sir, you are the one who has not been taken over by a demon, alien, whatever, bizarre.
Yeah.
Right. You are in control of the situation. Okay. You lost control when she hit you, which no one likes to get hit.
No.
But I'll kill you. This is the person you've been making out with.
It's not good.
And then you let her have it. And then you're probably not going to mention that to her when she comes back too. Like you didn't mention the fucking assault with Buffy when you came back too, even though you remember it.
That's the thing. And as someone who has his body taken over without his consent by the hyena spirit, he should understand that Cordelia is not herself.
She's not herself. So you have the responsibility to behave accordingly.
And he doesn't.
And act accordingly, and he doesn't.
It's disappointing, but unsurprising. At this point, we cut to Tector.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what are you? And he's looking at the bazaar.
Yeah, he stumbled a little too close to the crack where the bazaar is, and the bazaar opens its eye. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, what do we have here?
Little tentacle comes out and grabs him.
He's a goner.
And he's dead. And Lyle's like, no.
Yeah.
Basically.
But his sacrifice actually does a world of good for everyone else because.
Yep. So Joyce has swung a pickaxe at Buffy, and in Buffy trying to dodge it, she gets pulled in by the bazaar, but Buffy has a weapon with her, and she's attacking it. Everyone watches, and then all of a sudden we hear a couple more, like the bugs all fall off and everybody faints. And she pulls herself out of the pit.
So she kills it.
Buffy kills the bazaar.
Okay, I thought the bazaar died because it ate a vampire who was like a non-living creature.
That's a good thing. No, it's Buffy. Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, because she climbs out of the pit covered in its blood.
Okay.
And Lyle looks at her and he goes, all right, it's over.
How did I miss this?
He skedaddles.
He does. He skedaddles. And she lets him go again.
Buff, you have a weapon in your hand. Everybody has fainted. You threw an incense thing at Spike. What are you doing?
She can make quick work of this dude, and she knows it. Lyle.
She's making choices.
You got lucky.
You got lucky, bud. Or mate. What did he say? Yippee-yay, mate.
Live to die another day.
Got to know when to hold him.
Yeah, go on.
Know when to fold him. Know when to walk away.
He's had
and know when to run. So we cut to everybody walking out of the school looking dazed. So Giles is telling everybody it was a gas leak. Nothing to see here. It's a gas.
This school.
Do they not have any memory? So again, point of order. Cordelia and Willow were interacting normally with Buffy and Xander. Then they go into robot mode. So do they all not remember what they did?
No, remember he says, Xander says they seem kind of confused, and it seems to be everyone else is kind of confused as well. So
yeah, and Xander goes up to Willow and Cordelia and he's like, how are you guys doing? And they're like, ugh. And Willow said, did I really hit you? And he said, yeah.
Yeah.
Cordelia's like, did I hit you too? Not because I want to, but I just don't want to be left out.
It's like, yeah, everyone hit me.
Yeah, cool.
I'm like, well,
you deserve it.
What goes around comes around, buddy.
Yeah. And then Buffy finds Joyce.
Yeah.
And Joyce, at first, she seems concerned. She's like, oh, Buffy, I thought you got locked in the building. She's like, I came to the library. Where were you?
And Buffy could have made anything up at this moment. And
anything.
Like, oh, well, when the gas leak happened, I kind of ran away or I was in the restroom. Anyway.
Or I fainted.
I fainted. She says I was in the gym and Joyce
comes unglued.
There's no, well, I'm glad this situation's over. Let's just head home.
Yeah.
She immediately jumps on Buffy like a chicken on a June bug.
Oh, yeah.
She's all over her. She's grounded again.
She's confined to her room.
She's now confined to the room and she can only leave her room for school and for the bathroom.
And she's like, do I make myself clear? And she says, you're clear. I won't leave my room. And Joyce says, damn right you won't. Oof. We're ending on more smoochies.
Buffy promptly figures out a way to circumvent the grounding rules.
Yeah, she doesn't leave her room.
But we see her smooching with Angel.
I know. It's raining. He's in her window. She's meeting him out there. And
she's in
they're smooching. There, and she's like, hey. Not breaking any rules.
Yeah, then you hear Joyce call, hey, Buffy.
Are you going to bed? In a minute.
Smooch, smooch, smooch.
And that is the end of the episode.
Your neighbor across the street. You're having a little nightcap. You're looking at your window. It's like this man who's 240 years old, who, for all intents and purposes, it probably looks like he's in his 30s or 40s. I don't know.
I would say
he's a
late
man,
20s, 30s.
Grown man,
yeah, he's a grown man.
Smooching with a 16-year-old in the window of her bedroom. Are you not going to pick up the phone and be
hello,
like,
Chris Hansen?
Excuse me, Miss Summers?
You need to see this. But we don't get that. But we do get a lingering shot on Buffy's stuffed animals because it's really emphasized that she's 16 making out with a 200-something-year-old. Great. Got it.
Yeah. Tight. Great. Tight. Okay.
That's bad eggs.
Well. On to the next segment.
Do you know what time it is? I gave this a 2.5.
Yeah. Okay.
This episode is wild.
Valid.
Much like the Wild West that the Gorches come from. it's a filler episode that is not we don't need it.
Right.
We've got two different subplots that don't make any sense, the Bazaar and the Gorches. What I would have done had I written this would have made the Gorches a part of that somehow. Like they summon the Bazaar, they're trying to use the eggs to control humans, to basically offer themselves up so the vamps don't have to do the work. You get the humans to come in and they just and then they're good.
We've met a lot of bumbling minions over the past season and a half.
Yeah.
These two were actually pretty fun characters that I would have liked to have gotten more of, or have them even reoccurring, or it's like, oh, drat, she got us this time, but we'll be back.
Or
something.
And that's it. Just, I'm like, wait a second.
A wasted opportunity with these two.
What does it do for the story? And maybe I'm coming from the lens of watching Buffy for 7 seasons, and I know that there's a narrative arc through each season. This does nothing for the narrative arc. We still don't see Spike and Drew. We're assuming they're licking their wounds, but they could have easily had the Gorches come and they're like, hey, we heard talk that old Drew still is at her full strength. We're here to join her cause.
Right.
Like, but no, we've got a brain tentacle monster with its scorpion tentacle babies controlling people. It just
I could have done with that.
And it doesn't serve the story other than we get the conversation with Buffy and Angel about what's their future going to look like. But we have the uncomfortable statement from Cordelia about her friend's hair. Xander's very troubling actions and statements to Cordelia. Willow, I mean, I guess she has some things to do this episode, but
no,
it's just, it's a 2.5 for me. It's not, it's just, I don't think it's good. I do not think this is a good episode of Buffy.
Yeah. Well, I'm right there with you. It's a 2 or 2.5 for me. The episode really kind of falls into that monster of the week formula, which can, in this case, it really feels disconnected, as you said, from the overreaching narrative of the season.
Yeah.
It's just kind of out of place with these creatures that have no bearing about why they're there or what this is going to lead to.
Yeah.
It just kind of seems like a distraction. I'm with you on underutilizing certain characters like Giles and Willow.
Yeah, Giles is also just
episode.
Not doing anything.
You're right. Their roles are really more kind of reactionary than being proactive, which they usually are.
Yeah.
It feels kind of lacking in the strong ensemble dynamics that we've been building over the past few episodes. And I've noticed they do this. They'll build up these moments with these characters, and then we'll get an episode like this that just kind of derails all of the momentum that we had for these guys. And so I don't know, the episode's pacing was totally uneven. It's kind of slower in parts, and then it would build up, and just the whole climax with the Bazaar seemed really drawn out. And for nothing. It didn't give us anything. So
it's like, ooh, kooky wacky hellmouth, which that can be done, but it wasn't done well here. We're coming off the heels of Ted, which is also filler monster of the week.
It is.
But they did it where they had important conversations about Buffy and taking human lives.
That's right. Yeah. And showing Joyce having more in her life than what was going on. This didn't really go anywhere. The only thing that I really kind of came away from this episode was, again, I liked the two villains kind of playing the bumbling
They were great.
Idiots.
They're so funny.
I'm okay. Add something like that into what else is happening. But overall, I think that the significant development in this episode is, again, the relationship with Buffy and her mom.
Yeah.
Joyce's increasing concern for Buffy's behavior and her responsibilities outside of just being the normal girl. I think it's really starting to add up. It's affecting the dynamic of the relationship between Buffy and her mom. There's a strain there, and I think Buffy's secret life is going to come out here pretty soon. I think they have to address it.
Things are coming to a head. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. That's what I got.
So be sure to check out our latest episodes of Unhinged, which come out
on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday. We are having Okay. Go. You do it.
Be sure to check out our latest episodes of Unhinged, released on Wednesdays. You can watch and listen to Once More on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. We are at Once More Podcast. And you can keep up with our latest episode drops and more additional fun content on our social media pages. We are also at Once More Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and we are the Once More Pod on X.
We sure are. Thank you so much for tuning in to Once More. We'll see you next Friday for episodes 13 and 14 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2, Surprise and Innocence.
Ooh.
We're going to try to do a two-parter. As you all know, last time we attempted, there was a demon. Yeah. But these 2 episodes are not technically 2-part episodes, but they are. And if you've seen Buffy, you know. So I can't wait to get to that.
I'm excited.
I am too. I'm also Jen Katz.
And I'm Ryan something.
And remember, it's an egg. It doesn't emote. Bye.